I know that God is in this place because wherever we are, God is all there is. God in form, God invisible. God in sound, God in light. That presence is always, always here. So as we allow the heart bowl to open us up and the tinctures to center us in clarity, we come to this time to remember the truth of who we are and have always been and will always be, the truth of Spirit as us, recognizing that that Spirit is perfect, whole, and complete in every way, as are we. So wherever we are and whatever we're doing as we share these thoughts together today, I know that all is well because God is all there is, and that's the truth, and so it is. Yeah. Good morning. Thank you for joining us in the room, and thank you for joining us online for this Sunday celebration. I am delighted to be here with you. My name is John Waterhouse, and we have some very brief things to help you be aware of, so we're going to do that right now. We're going to talk, first of all, about my Monday night class, Keys to Higher Consciousness for Personal Spiritual Growth. In this class, we will be this week discussing the use of meditation, and this is probably a really good time in our lives to consider doing some meditating to slow ourselves down and to be more prepared to deal with all the changes that are going on. We're going to meet via Zoom. That Zoom address is on the CSL website, cslasheville.com. It still says .com. I didn't fix that. It's .org. Please make note of that. That is .org. And you can join us. Anyone that would like to can join us for our class at 7 o'clock this coming Monday night. Also, our practitioners will lead a Wednesday evening celebration, also via Zoom on the 8th, which is this coming Wednesday night. You can get, again, the address for that at cslasheville.org or on the CSL Facebook page. CSL Asheville Facebook page. So you're invited to join us for either of those, and we're really glad that you're with us here today. So that being said, let's do our treatment for freedom together aloud. I speak my word for myself, my center, and all its members and friends. I know love as the only reality. I am created out of love. Love is what I am. I know this love as absolute freedom in every area of my life, the life of my center, and all who call it home. I claim for all of us financial freedom with all debts paid and cleared. I release any sense of struggle or wrongdoing. I live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. We experience freedom in every moment by always having more than enough money, vibrant health, and loving relationships. We are who we have come here to be. With hearts open wide, we see the world through the eyes of love. We are blessed, we are rich, and we are free. And so it is. And that's the truth. And now we get to hear from our beloved Barbara on the topic of prosperity.
And so I want to talk about prosperity because I want to talk about the blessing of this life. This life was not something that showed up so that we can suffer or struggle or work our way through. Life is a blessing. Life is a gift, and all of it has already been given. It's not a half-empty package, life on planet Earth. Everything that we needed to have the best life ever is already ours. And so we know that prosperity is a state of consciousness, that money is an effect of consciousness. How do we look at our consciousness and expand it so that we can accept greater and greater amounts of money, of health, of vitality, of joy, of the Ernest Holmes singers up here singing songs to Mamma Mia, just having great joy and love in our lives? How do we do that? When we look at what our beliefs are, We can get rid of the old ones that we don't like and open up the new ones. If we look at our life and we are going around going, everything is so expensive. I almost stopped a woman in Sam's to lecture her on the words coming out of her mouth. And then I thought, Barbara, she doesn't want your teachings. She doesn't want it. She's very busy going around Sam's going, everything is so high. Everything is so, I'm going, are you nuts? This is almond milk. What if you had to go out and plant the almond tree, grow it, get the almonds, 10 years later, harvest the almonds, grind them up, like Sylvia O'Neill does making fresh almond milk, use your super filtered water and strain it and then drink it. Would you think $2.38 is high? This is cheap. This is the best place to live in the world. Nothing is expensive. The only thing that's expensive is our stinking thinking, our limited thoughts that tell us that life is hard, that we don't have enough, that everything is just stacked against us. No. When we look at the world as blessing after blessing after blessing, then we get blessing after blessing after blessing. So, the first thing to do is to start listening to what you say. If you have a good friend, you can encourage them to help you. Really? Did you want to say that? Really? Is that what you want to create in your life? That everything is so high, everything is hard, oh, those are terrible people out there in TV land? No. You want to say life is a blessing, life is rich, life is good. That's why I have you repeat your treatment for increased income over and over and over and over a day. Every day I send you off to Dick's Sporting Good to get the clicker that counts so you can do it 100 times a day. But Barbara, what else will I do if I'm busy affirming my prosperity, health, and joy? Nothing. Don't screw it up. Do your affirmations. Don't let yourself think about anything else. And if you do think about something else, jump to it. Jump to it and say, is that what I want to see? Is that what I want to experience? Is that what I want to have in my life? Do I want to have that this person is right and that person is wrong? Because once you draw that line in the sand, you've lost. Once you go to war with anything or anyone, you have already lost. Or do I want to focus my awareness on, wow, I heard that story last night in class. Can you imagine somebody? Yes, I can imagine. Somebody got given a house. Somebody got given a car. Somebody got given money from a total stranger. Somebody has this. Somebody has that. They're laughing and joy-filled. That's what I want to think about. And if they can do it, I can do it too, because there is no difference between me and you, between you and me. We are all the same. We are all the same prosperous, abundant, individualized energy of spirit. That is who and what we are. And I don't know about you, but my God is not poor. My God is not broke. My God doesn't have to sweat over money. So I look at my belief systems, I listen to what I say, and I think about what I think about. I think about what I think about. Oh, but that'll give me a headache. No, it won't. Thinking those stinking thoughts over and over and over again will give you a headache. Thinking about what you think about will allow you to clean it up. And when you clean up your thoughts, your headache goes away. So think about what you're thinking about. Listen to what you say. And then look at some of the experiences you've created in your life. What is it in 12-step, a fearless moral inventory? Well, look at that first marriage. Look at the second one. Look at the third one. Maybe on to the fourth. Or look at that business or that job or that experience with a neighbor that you seem to have over and over again no matter where you move. Look at that and look at some of the beliefs that are going on underneath that. If you've had an experience that's happened more than once, it's called a pattern. If you have a pattern in your life, you're the one who put it there. So look at what that's about. Well, I believe that people can hurt me. Well, let's take that one on. If I am an individualized expression of spirit, if I am a point of all that God is, everything is operating in harmony with who I am. That's the only reality that can be. If love is all that there is, nothing can hurt me. No one can hurt me. Nothing's going to come out of the blue and knock me down. And if I go down, I'm going to get right back up. Let's look at these beliefs that say, I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. abundance and joy and health and wholeness are for other people. I'm supposed to be punished. What a crock. That is just awful stuff fed to us, so many of us, in our very impressionable years, instead of you are a powerful, creative, spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth. You can have your life any way you want. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be whoever you want to be because all that God is in you now. That's what we're telling our kids right now. So what are those old beliefs that somebody told you, the lies, that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve it, that it's not ever going to happen? Those need to go out with the trash.
Thank you, Barbara. That was wonderful. And now we're going to do our April affirmation, one of my favorites by far. Here we go. Please join me in saying this aloud wherever you are. I know that within myself there is that life which is perfect, complete, divine. It was never born and cannot die, for it lives and is God. Within myself is the wholeness, peace, poise, and power of life. This life is health, it is abundance, it is love. There is one life, and it is the life of God, and this is my life now. And so it is. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. So now it's time for us to do our meditation. And the meditation that we're doing this morning is on the subject of gratitude. So make yourself comfortable. And allow these words just to be with you now. So begin by centering yourself in your seat, balancing your body, sitting as comfortably as you can, with your back as straight as is comfortable. And take this moment simply to center yourself and let go of any attachment to anything that could distract you, to your phone or whatever else maybe has a sound that you hear or movement nearby. Allow all that just to fall away and follow the sound of my voice. Begin with a deep breath through your nose, filling your lungs entirely with fresh air. And as you let go of that breath through your mouth, make a sound, ah. Let's do that again. Breathe in through your nose, filling your lungs. And when your lungs are full, release it with ah. Allow your body to gently relax, starting at the top of your head and flowing down to the tips of your fingers and toes as you rest comfortably right where you are. Take a moment to scan your body, identifying any areas that are tight, tense, or sore, and breathe your warm, oxygen-filled breath into those areas. As you breathe out, let the tension release with each exhale. Now relax even deeper into your emotional state. Become aware of any worries, anger, fear, irritation, jealousy, or judgment that you may be holding. Simply breathe into those emotions, allowing them to flow out as you exhale. Take a couple of breaths and allow yourself just to let it go. Now become aware of any memories or plans, any associations, any thoughts other than being right here, right now. Just breathe into those thoughts, and as you exhale, allow them to flow out with each breath. Now that your body, your emotions and your thoughts are a bit more spacious and open. We'll begin to focus on the events and experiences, the people, the animals, and the possessions for which we feel most grateful. You and I already have much to be grateful for. As I offer these ideas about gratitude, allow my words to wash over you like waves of energy. As my words come and go, be aware of the feelings of gratitude that rise up and fall from those thoughts. You've been given the gift of life, without which nothing else would matter. At the beginning of this life, someone carried you in their body for many months. That one gave you birth. Someone then fed you, changed your diapers, bathed you, dressed you, taught you to speak, and helped you begin to understand the workings of being human on planet Earth. Take this moment to feel the gratitude you have for all of those helping hands and hearts that you received at the beginning of this life. You have a gift of healing, which connects you to all the sounds of life, whether it's the song of a bird, the music of a band or an orchestra, or a single instrument, voices singing, the sound of your own breath flowing in and flowing out, or any other sounds that you can remember that please you. Feel the gratitude you have for the ability to hear. You have the gift of a heart. It beats steadily, rhythmically, moment by moment, providing fresh, life-sustaining oxygen and nutrients to every cell in your body. Feel the gratitude you have for your strong and healthy heart. You have the gift of air in your lungs, breathing in fresh air all around you, and then releasing what you no longer have need for back into the atmosphere. Feel the gratitude you have for your lungs and all the fresh air that you consume. You have the gifts of being able to touch and taste and smell. These senses help you experience the sweetness, the boldness, and the beauty of this world. Feel the gratitude you have for these senses. You have the gift of sleep, sweet sleep. You're able to close your eyes, relax your body, and move into that altered state of dreams, of rest, and of rejuvenation. Feel the gratitude you have for sleep. You have the gift of clothing, which allows you to express yourself with colors and textures, while at the same time protecting the surface of your body and keeping you warm. Feel the gratitude you have for your clothing. You have the gift of an environment filled with trees and plants awakening from their winter rest and filling your senses with beautiful colors and fragrances as they blossom and prepare to set fruit. You have the blessing of creeks and rivers and lakes and the great oceans that quench the thirst of all living things. You have the blessings of a world filled with mountains and meadows, beaches and frozen tundra, all of which make this a beautiful place to experience life. Feel the gratitude you have for this planet and for this exquisitely beautiful environment. You have the gift of the sun that appears to arise every morning and set every evening. Feel its warmth as it shines on you and brightens your day. Feel the gratitude you have for the sun. You have the gift of food, providing to you untold numbers, provided to you by untold numbers of farmers and ranchers who planted or raised everything you eat. Someone transported that food from processing and for sale. The stores where you buy your food require teams of people to build those stores, to stock those shelves, to package the food, and create a safe and clean place where you can come to buy it. This food offers delicious tastes that delight the senses and nourish your body. Feel the gratitude you have for good food. You have the gift of expression, which you use to do good work in the world. The gifts you give can only be given by you as you touch and bless those around you with your time, your energy, and your love. Feel the gratitude you have for the good work you do. You have the gift of money that flows to you and through you, all through your life. The money that you earn through noble service, money that you spend to enhance your life and the lives of those you love. Feel the gratitude for the money in your life. Perhaps you have animals in your life that provide joyous experiences for you and for others. We share this planet with so many who are not human. They provide us with companionship, admiration, appreciation, and so many other qualities simply by being near us. Feel the gratitude you have for the animals in your life. You have the gift of a home. You can flip a switch and the lights come on. You can turn a handle and clean, clear water flows from a faucet. You have devices that keep you warm, a roof that keeps you dry, windows through which you can observe what's going on outside without having to experience the elements. And you have places where you can sit down or lay down, where you can feel safe and comfortable. Feel the gratitude you have for your home. You have the gift of technology. You likely have a phone, perhaps a television, a refrigerator, a stove. You have machines that wash and dry your clothes and your dishes, and so many other conveniences that are relatively new to the world, allowing you to live in comfort and ease. You have things that make your life easier and more comfortable than anything your grandparents could have ever imagined. Feel the gratitude you have for all of these conveniences in your life. And finally, you have the gift of people who love and support you. Friends, intimate partners, members of this spiritual community, and all who add joy and comfort to your life. Feel the gratitude you have for the people in your life. Notice how you feel right now in your body. Be aware of your emotional state. And consider what you were feeling before we began this meditation, before we started on this journey. Don't judge, just notice the difference. Now simply move a finger or a toe. Stretch your hands and arms, your feet or your legs. You've drawn on the strength of gratitude. Use it well. Thank you for sharing this guided, heart-centered meditation with me. I am most grateful. Namaste. And now we'll experience the blessing of a spiritual mind treatment from practitioner Kate Wagner.
At this moment, I know that God is here because God is everywhere. God is the wholeness, the spirit, the power, the peace, the infinite and eternal being that is. And as God is everywhere present, God is here in me, as me, expressing me. And I love this. I love knowing that all that I am is God expressing, God being in me. And I am grateful to be in this place at this moment, knowing health for everyone in our community, health for all those directly in our center, but also all those that we reach out to all over. There is health for everyone. And I am so happy that there is love and peace abounding in our country as people reach out to one another, to help one another, to lift us up, to be the power that we are as God. And I am so grateful for the love that exists in me and all around me, in all my friends, all my family. There is love and only love. And I know that through this entire time of challenge, we also have time of blessings. We are blessed by our friendship. We are blessed by knowing the goodness in each one of us. We are blessed to be a part of this spiritual mind, this science of mind community. I am so grateful to be here. I am so grateful for the people of this community. I am so grateful for the presence of God here and everywhere. And I release this word to law, knowing it is already so, and so it is.
Thank you, Kate, for the beautiful treatment. So here we are, our third week of not being open to the public. and still coming together to provide a way to connect with all of those who are connected to this center. And there's still stuff to talk about in this incredible world that's going on. You know, we're living in historic times. I think people generally don't know that when it's going on. They just know there's trouble that abounds. They don't get that this is something that's going to end up in history books and end up being something that will be studied for generations. But that's right where we are. Now, in the midst of it, it looks like we're dealing with a virus. But I want to suggest that something much bigger is going on. The virus may be the catalyst that's causing us to look at who we are and how we function in the world. But the truth is that it's the changes that will develop out of this that will change our world and our lives. Now, I can't tell you what those things are because they're not here yet. They will emerge as this thing resolves itself and as we make the choices as a society, a culture, and a race of people around the world as to how we want to act differently and work differently. You know, this isn't the first time that we've had situations where things that were called a plague. We're calling it a pandemic. That's a pretty modern word. The old word was plague. And over the centuries, we've had literally tens of millions, maybe more, people that have died and succumbed to diseases, infectious diseases. Now, we've always had experts on infectious diseases who study this, but apparently we never had the political will to act on it and to deal with it in a way that that needed to be arranged for what's happening right now. So we all find ourselves hunkered down, dealing with this in our own way, finding ourselves in situations that we don't particularly appreciate. And still, change is not new. Change, the idea that the change is going on is always happening. Most of the time, it's rather subtle. So I went back and looked to see what kinds of changes can we identify very easily. And these aren't things that would be a secret to you, but they are obviously things that have changed over the last couple of decades. And I wanted to just review them with you. Here they are. Fewer Americans claim religious affiliation. There was a time when the United States was about the most religious country in the world. I mean, equal to the Islamic countries where it's mandated. We have the freedom of religion here. We can experience God any way we want. It's our choice. But it seems now that traditional classical ways of doing that are becoming less and less of interest to the people in the United States. It's down to under 50% of the people that would actually say that they're affiliated with a particular religious group. So that's fallen dramatically. Marijuana legalization has gained support. You've watched this happen with the defiance of states like, I think it was Washington and Colorado, passing laws that said it's legal to use marijuana. I didn't research to see how many people were using marijuana before it was legal, but it was millions of people. So obviously something had to give. So it took states to actually make that choice to legalize in their state, and it took a United States government to say, even though it's against federal law for you to do this, we won't bother you. And because of that, we're at about 3/4 of our population says it's perfectly fine to use marijuana now. Very different from when I was growing up, and this was the greatest evil on the planet. We have interracial marriages, which have obviously been going on, but there was a time when a lot of people thought that was just flat wrong. That's not the case anymore. 90% of people in this country think it's perfectly fine for two people of different races to marry. Finally, we've come to our senses around this silly thing. In fact, I've often said that if one generation, everybody married somebody from a different race, there'd never be a problem again. Not going to happen, but it's an interesting idea. Willing to vote for a woman for president is all the way up to 94%. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure that it will when the right woman to be elected gets elected and that we have a Madam President. 94%. A willingness to vote for an African American president. That's a little bit different because we've had an African American president. And the approval or the willingness rate on that is 96%. And I'm sure that went up a good bit with Barack Obama's election to the presidency. As a society, we now prefer smaller families. That's certainly true in my family. My grandparents on my mother's side had 12 kids. My parents had 4. I had 1. And my son with Barbara has 2. So there is this gradual move toward less children. A lot of that has to do with affluence and people thinking that they just soon keep their money and do what they like to do rather than raise children. But it seems that there are still parts of our society and the world that continue to have large families. And what's going to happen is someday those groups will be in the majority and we'll all have a different world to live in, and that's perfectly fine. Here's a good one. Premarital sex is no longer taboo. Remember when you used to live in sin? Apparently it's not sinful to most people anymore. 92% of people say that's just what we do as human beings, and they've let that go. The last one here is Americans support gay rights and gay marriage. 3/4, which seems a little low, but we're finding our way with this one as well for people who have a different sexual orientation to be accepted into the mainstream of our culture. Now, none of these, perhaps the one that stands out the most would be Barack Obama's election as president, but none of these ideas happened out of some cataclysmic activity, about some terrible thing that happened that caused us to reevaluate. They just evolved over time. More and more people thinking that this was the direction that we should go as a society. And they are evolving in that way. Now, that's not always the case. The thing that comes to mind immediately is that when I was younger, if I was meeting someone at the airport, I would park my car, I would go into the airport, I would walk down the terminal to the gate where they were coming in and greet them with a lot of other people as soon as they got off the plane. That's the way we did it back then. Now, we knew that more security was going to be required, and there were times where you had to show your ID to get through and get to a place. And then 9/11 happened, and everything changed. When planes were hijacked and flown into buildings in New York and in Washington, and that changed everything. And I will admit to you that I have cursed the memory of Osama bin Laden in long lines at airports because I was running late and I didn't want to have to do that. But that's the nature of life now, is that it takes time to get through security if you want to get on a plane. And in the same way that happened in 2001, I believe it's happening again right now. Out of this cataclysmic experience of thousands upon thousands of people getting sick and a percentage of them dying from this virus infection, things are going to change. How are they going to change? I don't know. I really don't have a clue. And I could speculate on it, but it would all just be guesses. But things will change. And it's time for us to get clear about that and choose in our lives to be okay with, not only be okay with the change, but to actually help facilitate it in. It isn't an accident that we're here on this planet. It isn't an accident we've chosen to be alive at this time. We are here for our individual purpose, but we're also here collectively for a purpose, to help with the evolution of the human experience on planet Earth. And what we go through, these cataclysmic events like this, that don't happen all the time, but then they do happen, are helping us move forward with this. It looks like a virus, but it's not. It's something way more than that. And one thing that we're facing with all of this is the idea that we are in a great time of uncertainty. What I learned from neuro-linguistic programming is that there are amounts of certainty and uncertainty that people require to be at peace in their lives. Some people want more uncertainty. They don't want everything to be the same all the time. They like the excitement. They like the adventure. But they want to control it. Nobody's really into the idea of uncertainty that you have no control over. But it's kind of an illusion that you have no control, because you do. You always have control over your own experience. What other people do is absolutely up to them. But in the midst of what's going on, We have to be open to this idea that we don't know what's happening right now. We don't know where this is going. And I'm not talking about the details of the virus. I'm talking about what's happening to us as a culture, as a society. Things are changing, and they're changing rapidly. And we don't get all this in the news. I mean, you can watch news all day long and you'll pick up some information, but you're not going to really see this because most of it's going to happen after the virus has been dealt with, after people are no longer getting sick. What do they call that? When the curve levels out. We're trying to deal with that curve right now, which is a statistical model that says when it stops infecting more people, when we stop having so many infections, and then it starts going down. That's the curve we're looking for. They say it's a bell-shaped curve. I'd much prefer it be a very flat-looking curve, not much like a bell at all. But we see already that in the United States, we're dealing with this at a greater level than any country in the world. One reason I think that we are is because we have made this mandate of testing so important, and so many more people are being tested. I'm hearing 100,000 people a week, and I'm just doing that from memory. That may not be correct, but a lot of people are being tested, so we're finding the people that are infected much quicker here than anywhere else in the world. And in so doing, we know who needs to be kept away from everybody else. And that's an important part of this puzzle. But there will be many things in medicine and in social standards that will happen. As you know, we're not touching right now. We're not hugging. We're not even supposed to come close enough to do an elbow bump. We're supposed to keep 6 feet away from people. That's kind of hard. We're supposed to wash our hands all day. We're supposed to not touch our face. These are just natural things that people do. So those activities we're becoming more highly aware of, and we're acting differently. And that's all part of the experience that we're having in dealing with this thing that's going on right now. But again, there's something deeper happening. We're being challenged at the depths of our being to find a way to cope with this, to work with this. And I don't think anybody's finding that easy. I think people that are healthcare professionals are working diligently to support those that have been infected, to find a vaccine, to find ways to stop this thing. Some people are working 24 hours a day till they drop. It's this amazing effort. Honestly, I think it makes our efforts of World War II that were so incredible look pretty tame. We are acting so quickly to do all these things to support the resolution of this. And it still continues to grow. So, in the midst of that, we have to take care of ourselves. Not separately, but we have to start with ourselves if we're going to be of any good to the community and to our society. If we're going to be the ones that are clear, if we're going to be the ones that know what needs to be done, we have to take care of ourselves. So today I have 4 very simple ideas that occur to me that we should look at as we move forward and prepare for the changes ahead. The first one is trust yourself. This is big because we interact with this thing called media, and we interact with other people on the phone or in our emails or text, or Facebook. And when we do that, if we're dealing with people, if we're interacting with people that are frantic, that are panicked, that are afraid, that are confused, that are angry, any of those things, it kind of washes off on us a bit. And so we have to monitor ourselves to make sure that our minds are clear, to make sure that we're not overindulging in conversations or in being involved with media activities and learning through the media. Not that anyone is intentionally lying to us. I just don't believe that's happening. But there is a frantic element that's involved. There is an energy of panic that's everywhere. And we have to protect isn't the right word. We don't need to be protected. We need to be conscious. We need to be aware that this is happening. We need to be prepared to let it go as quick as we identify it so that we can maintain a state of peace, so that we can know who we are in the midst of what looks like terror, so that we can act accordingly in a way that supports who we are and supports the people that we love. So knowing yourself, trusting yourself, believing in yourself, listening to your inner guidance, because at that level, you do know what to do. You always know what to do. But you have to quiet down enough, settle down enough to hear it and to know it and to act on it. I think it's perfect that I'll be teaching meditation tomorrow night in our Monday night class, because that's one way that you can do that, is just slow your mind down, settle down, relax, and remember that everything is still God. And if you can do that, then you can cope with anything that's going on television or on the radio or on your computer or in your conversations with other people. But it has to be done consciously. It has to be done actively. And the point of trust starts at the point of you. Stay in charge of your emotional state. Easier said than done. It's really easy, especially if you're inundated with information that says the sky is falling. It's really easy to suddenly find yourself afraid. It's easy to find yourself angry or frustrated or fearful. Whatever it is, it's easy to go to those places. So our work right now is to monitor our emotional state. It's not a hard thing to do, but it does require a little bit of a detachment. You see, we have this field around our bodies that contains an energy. It's a subtle energy, but we are the ones that generate that energy. People actually can give us energy, and they can do it in a way that we're unconscious, which means that we have to keep scanning our energy and making sure that that's our energy and releasing anything else. When I lived in Australia, I worked with a teacher that taught us how to do that, taught us how to scan and clear our energy field. And it was incredibly helpful at times. He said you could be walking down the street of Sydney, Australia, and pass somebody who was having a terrible day. And just not even physically touching them, just walking by them, your energy field and theirs merge to a point, or they intersect at some point, and you pick up their energy. And you think it's you, and you go, why am I feeling this way? What's going on? And it's not even you. But the answer to that is, clear it, let it go. It's not yours. It's not your energy, so don't worry about it. And don't give it any power over you. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to figure out what it's trying to tell you. It's just energy. Let it go. And you do that by simply letting gravity take it away. That's one way to do it. Just release it and allow yourself to be you again. And then you'll feel that energy that is you, and all that other will be gone. Another way to do it is to go up to a tree, and you can put your forehead right against the tree, and just take that energy in your body and push it into the tree. It may sound a little silly, but I've actually done this for people who have headaches, serious headaches. Headache is energy. And when you're feeling that energy of the headache, you can just push it into the tree. The tree doesn't care. It's just energy. You can do the same thing with your entire energy field, is just clean it and push that energy out of you into a tree, into a post, probably easier with a tree. Don't push it into anybody else, though. And by doing that, you're clearing your energy, and you're knowing that what's going on there is you. And if it still feels off to you, then look at what you're thinking, because every feeling comes out of a thought. What are you thinking? Either way will work. But make sure that you're keeping your energy field clean and watching your emotional state so that you don't fall into the abyss, which is so easy to do right now. Stay connected. So at one time, I'm telling you that we have this issue of picking up other people's energy, and now I'm telling you to connect with them. Connect with them knowing who you are, with your clean energy, and come to them with this sense of love and connection and appreciation. And don't let what they say to you affect your emotional state. You're there to support them. And if they want to talk, that's fine. We teach all of our practitioners how to do this, because a practitioner will be sitting with someone who is in dire straits, struggling with something big in their life. sitting right in front of them, and the person is telling the story about how they've been done wrong, how they are suffering, how life is so hard, and the practitioner is going, that's not me. That's not me. And frankly, the practitioner is saying, that's not you either. Not out loud, but they're saying it to themselves, that everything that person's talking about is a lie. And it's creating all this horrible energy in their life. This person feels terrible. Their life isn't working. They're so upset. And whatever they're going through, the practitioner knows how not to buy into that, not how to accept that, to have compassion, but not to fall into the trap of accepting this and holding on to it. Anybody can do this. Takes a little practice if you've never done it before. But if you can give this a go, when someone is telling you how bad things are, just love them. Just tell them. You don't even have to say it. Just love them. Just know that they're the presence of the divine as much as you are. They're finding their way. This is not your problem. It's their thing to work through. And love them nonetheless. So whatever it takes, it's important for us to be connected. Last week, I met with our practitioners and invited them. We did a Zoom call, and I invited them to take a list of members of our center and to check in with those people, to be available for them to do treatment work with, and to love on them a bit. I didn't ask them to take on projects or chores for these people, but just to be there for them, to be a solid rock for them to lean on. And what I've heard from several practitioners is that it's been a joy. Kate was telling me that this week, and so were others, that it was such a joy to talk to these people, and that the people were so grateful to hear from someone at the center, especially a practitioner, and that this made a difference in their life, so it made a difference in the practitioner's life. So when I say stay connected, what I'm saying is do that, yes, for other people, but you're doing it for yourself first. Because having those connections with people, especially when you get them to a place of everything's really okay, then everybody wins. And that's a good place to be. And then the final one is to be grateful. That's why I chose to do a gratitude meditation with you today. Is because gratitude is so healing. It's so centering and grounding. When we are grateful for what's happening in our lives, all of the problems and the challenges and the upset and the confusion and the fear has to go away. You can't be grateful and a mess at the same time. When you're fully engaged in gratitude, it cleans up your energy. It cleans up your life. It helps you see that way more good is going on than that is trouble, that is a problem. And that when you have that as your anchor and you are centered in your gratitude, you can deal with whatever else is out there to deal with because you remember who you are. You remember how good your life is and how many wonderful things are happening to you. So these are the 4 things that I'm inviting you to do. And I'm going to read them back to you really quick. Trust yourself, stay in charge of your emotional state, stay connected, and be grateful. If you can do those 4 things this week, pay attention and see how much better this week is than last. Remember who you are. Live in the truth of that. Remember to do your prayer work, your treatment work. Open your heart and let God in. Because God's right there where you are. And when you know it, your life works. So knowing this, I think, helps me. And I'm trusting that it helps you. Bless you. I love you. Thank you. So what I want to say to you folks at home is thank you for tuning in, listening to my thoughts for today, sharing in our meditation, receiving the beautiful treatment and the playing of the bowl. Thank you for being a part of this. We are absolutely connected through this process, and I am so grateful. And the one thing that you can't do in the room today is support us financially. So I want to give you that opportunity to remind you that if you would please support this center in some way financially, if you're able to do that, please do so. If you can't, if you're not working right now and you're in some concerns about your money, I encourage you to go to our website to find a practitioner that whose picture and name and little bio resonates with you. Call them. Ask them for treatment around your financial issues. They would be honored and delighted to support you. In the meantime, if you can support this center, as so many people are doing through the mail right now and through our website, through our donation button on our website, I want to thank you. Thank you for believing in this center, even when you can't be here, for supporting it and keeping it active and alive so that we can meet our obligations here. That is so wonderful, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am. So while I hold these that have come into the mail, through the mail to us through most of this week, we did make a deposit earlier in the week, and we bless those as well. But we're going to take these, and I'm going to hold them close to my heart. So if you've sent us money this week, I'm holding it right now, and I want to invite us all to say together our investment affirmation. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is. And you are blessed. You are blessed because of who you are and how you live your life. You are blessed through your connection to this community, and you are blessed for being the divine presence on planet Earth at just the right time in just the right way. Please know that we love you and that we're keeping you in our prayers and that all is well because all is God. And so it is. Thank you so much. Have a great week.